Baseball finally clicked with a momentous 16-4 win against Fordham to give a certain co-host 2 successful picks of the week. Hello, I'm Jake Smolinski.
And I'm Anna Gomez. SportsLine producer Brendan Rigney forges the tryout documents for men's golf in an attempt to check out the brand new indoor facilities. Plot twist, he's not as good as golf as we'd imagined. You're watching LaSalle TV's Home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. It was a week of both success and failure for LaSalle, with blowout wins by baseball, softball, and lacrosse, followed by some disheartening losses. And there was no balance to be met for LaSalle sports this entire week. And to be honest, I'm flabbergasted.
Well, later in the show of confusion, we have a very special package making its way onto the screen. This is the biggest deal since reporter Steve Graham infiltrated the Quidditch circuit at LaSalle. It involves Brendan Rigney, golf, and a potential job offer that could keep soon-to-be graduating Brendan here forever.
But first, let's take a look at what went down this past week for our athletes. So, last week, men's track split up, sending team members to compete at the Ryder Invitational in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, and to the Sam Howell Invitational in Princeton. At Ryder, LaSalle placed 6th overall in the team competition with a total of 48 points. Sophomore Colin Pierlo won the 800-meter event with a time of 1 minute and 56.05 seconds, contributing 10 points to the team score. Sophomore Kenneth Worthington also scored points for the Explorers with a 3rd-place finish in the high jump. Teammate Brian Johnson finished behind him in 6th place. At Princeton, Chris Sanders topped the field with a 1st-place finish in the 800-meter, clocking in at 1 minute and 50.1 seconds. And other notable performances for the blue and gold include senior Ian Barnhill and junior Brendan Robinson, who finished the 5,000-meter in 8th and 9th place, respectively.
The women's track and field team also competed in these 2 separate invitationals this past weekend. At the Sam Howell Invitational, senior Kate Conville placed 1st in her section and 14th overall in the 800-meter run. The rest of the team headed to the Ryder Invite, where they placed 9th overall. Amber Jenkins finished 7th out of 30 in the 100-meter dash. The sophomore crossed the finish line in just 0.33 seconds out of 1st place. The relay team of Ariel Metro, Monet Gist, Kalia Miller, and Jenkins wrapped up the day with a LaSalle victory in the 4x100-meter race. We'll hear more about them in this week's marquee matchup.
And the baseball team welcomed Fordham for a 3-game Atlantic 10 set on Friday. The Explorers' bats exploded and came up with a season high of 19 hits. Joey Rayford started out on the mound and struck out 8 batters. Throughout the 6 innings, he only gave up 2 runs. Rayford went 4 for 6 with 5 RBIs to help the team win 16-4. The men took on a doubleheader, but dropped both decisions to the Rams. In Game 1, the men could not get their bats going, coming up with only 4 hits that they could not turn into runs. The Explorers also had 2 errors on the night, which led to a 9-0 loss. Game 2 came around for the Blue and Gold, who were able to out-hit Fordham 13-8, but were not able to get the runs in, falling 6-2.
Softball split victories in a doubleheader versus St. Bonaventure on Sunday, April 10th. In Game 1, LaSalle busted out of the gate with 9 runs off of 7 hits. The Explorers pipelined off 5 RBIs and 2 errors from the Bonnies. Bonaventure attempted a comeback with 5 runs over 4 innings, but LaSalle returned in the 3rd to double their score. Once the 3rd inning assault ended, LaSalle tallied 9 more runs off of 4 hits, all of which were homers from Mackenzie Obert, Emma Schwagert, Michelle Haggerty, and Kristen Martin. In just those 2 innings, LaSalle found itself at a surplus of 13 runs, good enough for the victory. The 18 runs scored is the 2nd most in program history.
But the Bonnie shortcomings would be short-lived. In Game 2, they found their mojo and only allowed 4 runs for the Explorers, 3 of which, however, were single RBI homers. Going into the 6th, the teams were tied with 3 each, but the Bonnies would capitalize on a double that sent 2 runners home. The last frame was a nail-biter with LaSalle trailing by 2. Emma Schweigert bombed a home run down the infield on empty bases, cutting the deficit to just 1, and Schweigert's homer prompted a Bonaventure pitching change, and in the process ended any hope of of the second. And LaSalle quietly settled for a 4-5 loss to split the Bonaventure series.
Just as Jake predicted in last week's picks, lacrosse wiped McCarthy with a St. Bonaventure win on April 8th. Led by Caitlin Fay with a career high of 6 goals, the game was also anchored on the defensive end by goalie Sarah Gallagher. The sophomore recorded 12 saves in the 14-4 win against the Bonnies. LaSalle built up momentum from the start, going on a devastating 8-0 run over the course of the first period. However, the game was owed to the Explorer midfield. They forced 14 turnovers, led by Allie Burnett with 3. This home game against the Bonnies of the North looks like a potential turning point in their season.
Well, spoke too soon because the Explorers took on crosstown rivals, the St. Joe's Hawks, on April 10th. The game started as a deadlock with a 1-1 tie for the first 20 minutes of the game. A defensive battle, the Explorers eventually wore down as St. Joe's closed the first half on a 5-0 run. LaSalle came out fresh in the second by closing the gap to within 3. However, the dastardly Hawks went on a 4-1 run to close out the game for a frustrating 11-5 loss. Caitlin Fay notched another hat trick along with Brittany Edwards and Nicole Black adding 1 apiece. With a current record of 4-7, this was a tough loss on the home turf. Oof.
And finally, men's and women's tennis both took another loss when they faced off against St. Bonaventure on the 9th. First up for the women was Allie Santarelli in singles. The sophomore fought hard, but fell in 2 games, 6-3 and 6-2. From there on, the day failed to improve for the women, who eventually lost by default. Final score was Bonaventure 7 and LaSalle 0. And for the men, the highlight of the day came in the third singles round when Bonnie sophomore Hector Martinez faced off against LaSalle sophomore Joseph Diorio. After losing the first game, Diorio battled back to win the second, game 4-6. But in the third contest, Diorio fell 10-4 to Martinez, leading to another Bonnie sweep. And on Thursday, April 14th, the men finished off their tough season in a final A10 contest versus Dayton on Thursday with an 0-4 loss.
Now, let's take a look at some weekly awards. That was a pretty busy week of some serious games. Anyway, runner Chris Sanders earned himself A10 Performer of the Week. The junior won the 800-meter race at the Sam Howell Invite with the fastest A10 finish this spring. I have to say, Chris Sanders is blazingly impressive. Yes. I roomed with him actually during last summer, and he's a very nice kid, also very talented. Absolutely insane, though.
Very interesting. Well, on the fairway, PJ Asiano not only won the Lafayette Invitational, but he also won A10 Co-Men's Golfer of the Week. Asiano won the event by 1 stroke after shooting 146.
And wrapping up our weekly awards, freshman baseball player Brian Tago earned both A10 Co-Rookie of the Week and Big 5 Player of the Week. Tago batted 10 for 14 in 4 games last week, adding 4 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, and an RBI. And now, joining us for our exploring headlines, Mr. Tyler Harper from the Sports Talk Philly. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. But let's get to it. It's been a successful week for the LaSalle field hockey team. First, 11 players were named to the 2015 National Academic Squad for maintaining individual GPAs of 3.30 or higher. The team as a whole was also named a National Academic Team as well. To top it off, the team has also announced its 7-person recruitment class with players from Pennsylvania and Maryland. Speaking of academics, 5 LaSalle teams received the NCAA's Academic Progress Rate Public Recognition Award for finishing in the top 10% of their respective sports. The award is given to teams that show dedication and improvement in the classroom from semester to semester. Both tennis teams, women's cross country, women's track and field, and men's basketball all won the honor. For the 2nd straight year, former members of the men's basketball squad are teaming up for the basketball tournament, a 5-on-5 contest that allows 16 teams to compete. Teams are selected through fan voting. The 20th and only group this year features recent alums Steve Zach and Jarrell Wright, as well as familiar names such as Tyreek Duran, Tyrone Garland, Ramon Galloway, Steve Smith, and Rodney Green. Hope to help the team qualify. Visit GoExplorers.com to find out how.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. I just want to see this team actually in action with the best of the best.
We were really close last year to competing. And
are we washed up at this point? Are they just a bunch of old fat guys?
No, not at all. Jeez.
Well, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
We're ready for our first break, but do not go anywhere.
When we come back, we've got a very special look into the Benilde Golf Facility with the lady killer known as Brendan Rigney. Stick around.
I disagree.
He's following me. He knows where my next class is.
%31% of female victims stalked by an intimate partner were sexually assaulted by that partner. For more help, visit www.victimsofcrime.org.
Life is hard. Effective consent is simple. Do not make hookup decisions if you won't remember them. For more information on sexual assault, visit nomore.org.
Welcome back. And well, this is a segment that I've been waiting for, not only the show, but for the entire semester. And sometimes we SportsLine reporters like to, get out in the field. And Rigney, our grizzled, seasoned veteran, found himself in the middle of LaSalle's 2 golf coaches and a future he might need to rethink. So, just please take a look.
Brendan Rigney here, reporting for SportsLine on LaSalle TV. I am somewhere in the Benilde Tower on campus because last fall they opened a new golf facility for the golf team for the LaSalle Explorers. I've been hoping to see what the facility has been like since it's opened, but the only way I could do that was to forge an application to try out for the team. So here we go.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Brandon.
Close enough, yeah. How are you, sir?
Oh, good, good. Coach Brad Kane, how are you?
I'm doing well, Coach.
Welcome to
How are
LaSalle.
you?
Come on
thank
in.
You.
Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
Markland Center.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm Jason Calhoun.
Jason, nice to meet you
Nice
too.
to meet you.
Wow, this is a pretty nice facility, guys. I'm excited to try out for the team.
Sure,
I
absolutely.
don't have much experience, but I can tell you this: I have a big heart. So.
Okay. Heart's important.
Oh, that's what my dad tells me. But
Okay,
All right, let's
great.
take a look at the facility.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Of the programs I've been involved, this is, by far and away the nicest indoor facility that I've seen at a university that I've worked at. And the unique part about it is when I bring a recruit in, the first thing they say is, wow, I haven't seen this.
It's definitely becoming more of a trend to have an indoor facility, especially on campus, which makes it really easy to access for the guys. But I would say, in the immediate area in Philadelphia, for instance, there's nothing else that I can really say that would quite compare to this from the size and what we have for the guys to do.
Got a wedge here. Coach Kane and I are going to watch you take a few swings and see what you bring to the table for us.
Yeah. Yep. Let's get.
That's a wedge.
Yeah. I know
Okay.
that. Cool. I
You were looking at it a little strange. I wasn't sure. Show us
Any
what you
tips?
already know.
Just okay.
All right.
Yeah, all right. We're going. Okay.
Fire away.
Okay. Let's. Is that good? I don't know if that was.
Swing was so bad that it actually didn't even register on the simulator. So. Well, why don't you try another one?
Yeah. We'll
We're
keep
starting-
going until
No one got hurt.
something happens.
Only one way to go from here.
Thanks, Brad. All right. Here we go.
It's actually Coach.
All right. Oh yeah. Swing and a miss. I was practicing.
I'm not in the business of killing dreams, but Brandon, I just don't think it's going to work out.
Did you really think you had your heart set on making the team?
I did.
Okay. All right. Well, and are you a freshman?
I'm a grad student.
Okay, so the clock really has run out. It's not like you even have like 3-4 years to work at it.
The world needs more ditch diggers.
Yep.
Thanks, coaches. That's great.
So first of all, we have the simulator. It's from True Golf. It actually has about, I think it's 28 courses on it that the guys can come and play. The Flight Scope launch monitor, it's one of the best launch monitors in the business. Can give you a lot of stats, a lot of info about a lot of instant feedback about your swing and where you are. We also have a 200 square foot putting green. it's really gives you an accurate roll. It's really like real grass, putting on real grass. We have a little chipping area, a chipping net that the guys can work for close-in shots around the green. We also have a small meeting room, where the guys actually use a lot for studying. I'll meet with recruits there. We'll have team meetings there, and there's also lockers there as well, so the guys can store their clubs and equipment in the winter months. So it's really just about everything as a golfer that you would need. So I mean, obviously the full swing, needs a little bit of work, but maybe here, the short game, some putting, maybe that's your strength.
Maybe this will mask some of what he does.
Maybe it will. You drive for show, but you putt for dough. So let's see what you've got. I'll tell you what. Why don't you just why don't you just line up and aim toward that hole right there?
This one right here in the middle here.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, clearly we have found something.
We have underestimated his ability.
I may have to take back all the things I said earlier.
There were a lot of things that you said, so that's a lot to take
there
back,
may be,
Coach.
There may be some promise here for you. So I'd like to see you do it again. Why don't you step up there again and
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it again.
There is that putt contest at conference championship that
There is.
he may be the ringer for.
He may be somebody that we bring in specifically for
Yeah.
that. Yes. It's a good point.
It's position player. That's what I can do,
That's right.
guys.
Correct. Always need depth, guys.
So he's a one-hit wonder.
He's a bit of a power putter,
Yeah.
actually. Hey, but you made the first one, so there's certainly some promise there.
Yeah.
50%, that's not bad.
50%, absolutely. If you can be 50% inside 10 feet,
That doesn't sound very good, actually.
it's really not.
The challenge is from 300 yards away, that hole gets a lot smaller too.
Well, usually the spring season can be pretty rough for us coming out of the winter after the long layoff, but since we were here quite often all throughout the winter in January and February, it really helped us move into the season a lot easier. And we've had 4 events so far this spring already, and we've definitely seen an improved performance compared to this point of the season in past years. It's really been a nice
It's a nice facility to have, to showcase, to bring recruits, to sit down and talk and show them what we can do while there's snow on the ground, while we can't get outside and so on. So in the absence of owning a golf course, this is pretty good.
Well, I mean, on paper, it looks like you put together a nice resume of accomplishments. In person, Jason, what do you think?
Well, you hit it on the head there. You put together a nice resume. So the recruiting service that you used did a great job making you look great.
Fantastic job.
They really did. But the challenge is your physical abilities don't necessarily line up with the checklist that we have for what we would typically recruit.
So my feeling is, I think that I really appreciate you coming here. I think there are plenty of other opportunities here for you at LaSalle. I think you'd be an asset to the university in many other ways.
Coach, we do have that position open for. We just got the new vacuum cleaner and things like that, and tidying up the room.
That's true. That is something that we need here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a great way for you to be around the game and expose yourself to it. I'm not sure if that's something that you would be interested in doing.
Golf room attendant.
Yeah. We've really, that's a need.
That is a need.
I mean, it's not something you're going to call grandma and grandpa about and say, hey, I made that, but
It is something that we do need here.
actually he has to pay that $50 fee to
That's
become
true.
the golfer.
He actually has to pay us to do it. It's a minor detail.
It's sought after. We've got a list of about 130 people interested in it.
Yes.
We're offering it to you.
What do you say?
It's going to cost
I'm your
you.
man. I'm your
Awesome. Welcome to LaSalle. That was good. Yeah, it was a good day. It was always a good day.
Filled that position we've
I
been
think
trying
we
to
did.
fill.
Man,
Yeah.
that was a great idea you had. I
Well,
never really thought that we'd do that.
That's great. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Coach. All right, hey, Brandon, make sure over in the corner there, was a pile of stuff too. Make sure to get that.
Wait, you guys are leaving?
Yeah, we are. Thanks.
And don't forget to take the trash out.
Yep. Thanks,
Thank you.
Brandon. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys.
I am so glad that Brendan actually has some post-grad just dreams, hopes, and like it was great to see him, just try his best. He's not the greatest, but
it was just very poetic.
Yeah, honestly.
He tried really hard, he put effort in, and something came out of it.
Yeah, well, anyway, that takes us right now to
our LaSalle sports action for this upcoming week.
So wait, no. We have to just go into the commercial right now. We have a bit more to...
No, we're not going into commercial. We're highlighting the games ahead.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
So baseball keeps up with their own A-10 play with a 3-game series against VCU starting Friday, April 15th. Then the team will face off against Penn on Tuesday, the 19th. And after a 3-1 win against Villanova earlier in the season, LaSalle challenges the Wildcats again on Wednesday. And a Saturday doubleheader will be the contest for softball this weekend as they make the trip down to Virginia to verse Dayton in a 3-game series starting April 16th.
And rowing races once more on the Schuylkill for the Care Cup on Saturday, April 16th. Hosted by Drexel, LaSalle will bump noses with Washington College, Villanova, Richmond, among others.
Coming off an all-star finish for PJ Asiano at the Lafayette Invite, men's golf hosts their own Finnegan Invite on Monday, April 18th. This year, the invite will be at the Philadelphia Country Club.
Women's lacrosse will seek to turn their A-10 record positive with 2 conference games this weekend. LaSalle will welcome George Mason to McCarthy on Friday, April 15th before traveling north to verse UMass on Sunday.
Women's tennis stay close for a matchup versus Temple on Saturday, April 16th. In their season opener, the women took on an 0-7 loss to Temple.
Track and field will try to keep their mid-season momentum going at the Bucknell Bison Classic, but in this week's marquee matchup, Dan Brady breaks it down. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Dan Brady, here to bring you this week's marquee matchup. This Saturday, the men's and women's track and field team will be taking on Bucknell at the Bison Classic. Last week, the team split up, sending players to Sam Howell Invitational in Princeton and others to Rider University for the Rider Invitational. Both teams are looking to improve their record this Saturday after the men placed 6th overall at Rider and the women 9th. The Bucknell men's team is coming off of a strong outing at the Mason Spring Invitational, falling short only to Navy, who took the title. The Bucknell women team also placed 2nd at the Mason Invitational, finishing with 109.75 points. Only Dartmouth had more with a final tally of 119.5 points. My first key player this week is junior Chris Sanders, who had the top time among 50 men in the 800-meter run last week at Sam Howell Invitational. In last year's A-10 championship, Chris won the 800-meter run with a time of 1:55.85 seconds. I expect a big day out of him. My second key player is actually 4 different athletes. The women's 4x100 relay team made up of Ariel Mitchell, Monet Gist, Kalia Miller, and Amber Jenkins accounted for 1/3 of LaSalle's total points against Rider. LaSalle had a powerhouse relay team last year, and it looks like this one is primed for success as well. Now for my keys to the game. My first key is having contributions from everyone on the roster, whether it be seniors or freshmen. The Bucknell women had 20 different athletes contribute to their score last week, proving that they have depth in their roster and showing that LaSalle must do the same if they wish to compete. The team must also establish a presence early. Bucknell has been hot recently, so it's important not to let them gain momentum early in the day. That's all for this week's marquee matchup. Be sure to root for your teams this Saturday. For SportsLine, I'm Dan Brady. Go Explorers.
Thank you, Dan.
And with that, we're going to get right into Jake's Picks of the Week.
So discombobulated. And if we are back, yep, we are back officially. Anyway, this is going to be a nice quick Picks of the Week this week. And for the first one, I'm calling women's lacrosse win versus George Mason. It's on Friday, April 15th. And George Mason is 8-3. LaSalle, we're 4-7. But when you see somebody like Caitlin Fay notching 6 goals, Allie Ilgenfrid stepping up, and just the way that our midfield defense has been playing, it's inspiring. And I think that they're on that verge, regardless of that loss against St. Joe's,
Yes, I agree. And they do have just a stacked midfield right now. They built up that, and now they're just going with it. It's really great to see.
Absolutely. No. That takes us to pick number 2, and I'm saying softball loss versus Dayton on the road in Dayton, April 16th. And, Dayton is a power team.
Yes. They're 17-50 right now, so they're kind of treading water. But LaSalle they're they're not nearly as strong right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Dayton, at least, they're struggling a bit this season, but we know exactly what they're capable of. They've been a real challenge in the A10 leading up to this point, and I think that, honestly, as you've talked about almost every week, it's the fact that LaSalle is scrappy. We can pull out a big win. We have some people that are hitting, but at the same time, it's just we're going up and down with pitching, and it's moments like these huge, like, 3-run hits that are ruining us. We're putting people on base, and it's killing us. But I'm going to make a bold pick right here. Baseball win versus VCU. I know it's a little much. VCU is 21-12. They're a power team, even more than Dayton.
Yes, they very much are. LaSalle and Dayton basically have switched records for winning and losing.
But the thing is, though, I do have hope. My thing is, if Joey Ravert, he's going to be on the mound. If he's going to be really active, he's going to lead something. At least get some runs on the board, because Ravert right now is our best player. And on top of that, then we have these freshmen coming up, Brian Tago, on top of Jared Malone, CJ Pruitt. If we can get together at least, some semblance of a team and finally click like that huge win that we just had, that's going to be a big deal. But
and there is a lot of up and coming for baseball, so that's going to be exciting to see in the next few years. But that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the marquee matchup, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage, and keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting GoExplorers.com and by following us on Twitter at SportsLineLTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Brendan, Dan, Helen, Selena, and our SportsLine team, I'm Anna Gomez.
And I am unhinged. Thanks for joining, and we will see you at the game.